Hi, I'm Carl, and I'm here to tell you a bit about the MA Post-Production Editing at Bournemouth University. So the first questions that you're going to ask, I suppose, is why would you study this with us? So probably that you want to work in film, television, or online post-production. That you want to be an editor. It may be that you already work in post-production and you want to develop your career, develop your skills, have an opportunity to really think deeply about editing for a year and then go back out into industry. It may be that you've done an undergraduate degree in kind of film production or media production and you want to specialise in editing, or it may be that you've studied something else but you've got a real interest in editing and a love of film or television. You've got career aspirations in those areas and that you want to convert into this as a new subject. It might be that you want to get Avid certification. We'll give you Avid training in Media Composer, and as part of the programme you'll take those exams, not linked to your assessment as a separate thing, but then you can leave the course as an Avid certified user, which is very well recognised in industry. So, like I said, we take students who are continuing their media production kind of education or developing it. We take some people with a bit of industry experience that are doing developing their career. We take people from all over the world, a real range of backgrounds and of different ages. And the thing that brings all those people together is they love editing and they want to work in editing. So our students have gone on to do a number of things. So across TV and film and online. I think it takes a little bit of time to develop a career, so you can expect some time as a post-production runner and in trainee positions and those sorts of things. But over those first few years, our ex-students are working on high-profile TV dramas, working on big-budget films that you'll be aware of and will have seen in the cinema. Working for broadcasters. Some people have started up their own companies, so doing video production or doing editing. It is, as I said there, it is very much a skills and relationships kind of industry. So it's about understanding or having a sense of the kind of work you would like to be doing, the kind of projects you would like to be working on, and using this program and this time to think about editing in order to do that. The course is very compact, so it runs from late September to mid-August, so there isn't time to put a formal work placement in there. There is a bit of a gap around Easter time, spring break time, which is a good opportunity to go and talk to people who work in post-production, do some workplace observation, go and hang out, get a coffee with people, let people know that you're there is really important. We do have a good reputation out there in industry. We've got a strong alumni network as well who are there to offer advice and support and guidance in terms of developing your career. But you've got to get out there and let the industry know that you're interested in working in it. And we support you in that, and we can give you advice on that, on how to make those kind of initial relationships that are going to develop into your future career. So that picture at the top there, that's Pool Gateway building. So that houses our production and post-production facilities. So it's 4K, it's fully networked. So you can work online in our edit suites, finishing suites, grading suites. We've got sound dubbing theatre, there's sound stage in there. Editing, finishing, grading, and because of that networked environment that we're in, you can also work offline outside of those facilities on your laptop, in a browser if you want to, over a Wi-Fi connection, and then go back into the facilities to do the actual, the finishing of the project and that kind of that part of the work where you need really good, kind of screening and listening facilities to work with. That picture at the bottom, that's Bournemouth Pier. We're situated kind of in the middle of England's south coast. It's a lovely part of the world. We've got some World Heritage coastline near here. There's some great locations around, so it's a good place to go out and explore and to film in as well for people who are more on the production side of things. And we're about 2 hours from London, and we're about 2 hours from Bristol. And London and Bristol are kind of the UK's two biggest kind of production hubs, where you will find there's a lot of opportunities there in post-production. So we're kind of halfway between those two places. So it's an MA, so we expect you to develop your independence. This connects to you having a strong idea of how you want to develop your career, what kind of things you want to work in. So we start off, there's a lot more kind of taught content. People like me standing at the front, kind of teaching you things. It's always interactive, but then kind of developing your independence, so you're able to develop your own journey along the way. So it's very collaborative. So the MA Post-Production Editing is one of 6 film and broadcast programs. So we've got MA directors, producers, cinematographers, sound designers, and script writers. And you'll be working with those students. So we try and simulate an industry kind of environment. So producers, writers, directors will be pitching projects. Production teams will be formed around those. We will be greenlighting and supervising those projects, and you work in a way which replicates contemporary industry practice. For those of you coming from an undergraduate degree, this is probably the most significant difference, because quite often on those earlier student projects, you're working with your friends, or you're taking on a number of different roles. Here, you'll be working as an editor, collaborating closely with a director who, at least early in the course, you won't have worked with before. So that ability to not only be able to operate the software and have a strong technical understanding of editing, and obviously a developing understanding of how to tell story and to create engagement and emotional storytelling through editing, that aspect of collaboration and how you negotiate through this quite complex, quite pressured sometimes environment of actually making a story is a really important part of your learning on the course. We're all industry experienced. All the people that are teaching you the production stuff have worked for a long time in industry. Our aim is to get you ready for work. So you carry our badge, as it were, out into industry. And that's part of our reputation, is getting you ready for those workplace environments. Supporting that, we've got a rolling program of visiting speakers from industry. We keep our industry contacts are very current, are very up to date. We keep those going. That's really important to us. So you've got a lot of opportunity to find out not just about your specialism, but about how the other specialisms work. From, as we say here, from the horse's mouth, as it were, from people actually working in industry. So, like I said, the programme runs from late September to mid-August. So it's broken into 3 blocks, each worth 60 credits. And so, approaches to editing, developing editing principles and practice, and master's production project. These are your core specialist editing units. So in each of those, you'll be expected to produce a portfolio of work that you've edited that semester in collaboration with the students on the other specialisms. You're working independently as the editor, but you'll be working with directors. You'll be working in collaboration with cinematographers, maybe script writers, and so on. Typically in the first block, you'll be cutting usually a pair, usually 2 5-minute films, usually 2 10-minute films in the second term, a slightly more complex portfolio of work for the master's project. And with each of those, there's an essay which gives you the opportunity to critically reflect on the editing decisions that you've made and the approaches that you've taken, and put those in a historical and a theoretical context, because that's really important to understand where editing has come from, what the principles of editing are, and be able to articulate those through words. Some of our students make video essays, that's completely fine. Some of our students do more traditional written essays. In the first term, there's a technology test, so we're talking about video standards and codecs and those kind of technical underpinnings, so you understand the foundations, the technical foundations of the work that you're doing. Alongside those, we've got narrative constructions, which is a narrative theory unit. So you're looking at film and television history, theories of cinema, of storytelling, of screen language, and that's based on cinema from all over the world. It's a very diverse program of study and of screenings. And professional practice, the visiting speaker program feeds into this, and that's then supported in the second trimester by a series of lectures and seminars where you're developing a couple of ideas about working in the industry, so about professional, industrially focused issues that you're going to write about. Master's production project, you're supervised through tutorials rather than in-class lessons and seminars, so this is where that independence really kicks in. And there's a real range of projects that students get involved in that, from quite long form kind of projects. I wouldn't necessarily say feature length, but again, kind of a range of things where you should be demonstrating your ability to edit across a range of formats. And in different forms. So some people might make kind of a sequence of a feature film that they're collaborating on, that they're working with. There might be a short form, people work in dance video. There's a real range of stuff, and all of that is in negotiation with your tutor, the kind of work. And again, this is kind of becoming your calling card for industry. When people that you talk to saying, well, what have you been editing recently, that you've got that ability to talk about really interesting projects that you've been working on. If you're thinking about a more kind of theoretically focused or possibly an academic career or future doctoral study, then we have a master's research project, which gives you the opportunity to work independently on a practice-based or a theoretical research topic around the area of post-production. So you've got the option of the master's production project or the master's research project. There is a bit of an equipment requirement, but you're going to need this when you get out into industry anyway. And the important one is that you're going to need a laptop. So you're not going to be in one of our finishing suites the whole time. A lot of the work that you'll be doing will be building the story kind of away from those sites and then going into those suites to actually finish your work. Mac or Windows is absolutely fine. You will want a multi-core processor. Most cores are 6 or 8 cores or more. 6-core 12-thread processor is great. Intel processors, AMD processors, both absolutely fine. If you can get a laptop which has a separate graphics processor, then that's better if you can afford it. And you're going to want 16 gigabytes of RAM, otherwise your laptop is really going to struggle with the editing. And if you can afford more than 16 gigs of RAM, then go for it. And again, you're going to want a 15-inch screen, we would say, as a minimum. That's probably the optimum. You could maybe get away with 14-inch. 17-inch gets kind of heavy to carry around. Okay, so those are our guidelines for that. One or more portable hard drives. You're going to want to back stuff up. We do have media servers here which will keep your work safe, but you're going to need to be able to move work around from time to time as well. You're going to need an Avid Media Composer subscription is what most of our students go for, and at the moment that's about kind of £10, €10 a calendar month, and you can. It's a bit like a popular streaming service where you can subscribe for some months and not subscribe for other months. Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve grading software, and if you've got access to Photoshop and After Effects. We don't do much teaching on grading and effects and that kind of thing, but having that software is really handy. So that's about it really. If you'd like any more information, then get in touch with the university and you'll get put in touch with somebody who'll be happy to have a conversation with you or tell you more about the programme. And if you're still interested, then hopefully we'll see you next September. Thank you very much.